All right, guys, welcome back inside the War Room. UFC London, full card predictions and betting breakdown. We're going fight by fight, like always, talking through every matchup on the card, what we like, what we don't like, where the betting value might be. So if you guys enjoy these breakdowns, make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on, all that good stuff. Help us grow. Socials down below, War Room MMA Pod. Chris, I think this is a good fight night. I think this is a really, really solid fight night. I think my only issue is coming down to card placement. I think there are a couple fights on the prelims that I think should be on the main card. One example, Nathaniel Wood and Losene Keita. What are we doing here? That is a main card fight. I don't know what that's doing on the prelims, and it's not even the featured prelim at that. So I think all around the fights on here are good. I think this is a good fight night. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Obviously, our main event, Movsar Evloev versus Lerone Murphy. That is going to be a fantastic fight. It's going to be a great 5-rounder. I'm definitely excited for that. Determining who is going to be next for Alexander Volkanovski, the champ. So, Chris, what are your thoughts on the card?
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually think this is a very solid card, and London typically has good cards. You'll see a lot of English fighters, a lot of fighters from the UK, even pulling from France as well. But yeah, I always get excited for the London card. It's also, I'm sure it's going to be on earlier than it normally would. Yeah, prelims start at 1 p.m. on Paramount Plus. Main card starts at 4 p.m. So, yeah, I mean, if you don't like watching UFC all through the night, then this is the card for you. But, yeah, I definitely think it's good. I do agree with the card placement. I do think some fights should be flipped around. The co-main event specifically, I mean, I'm a big fan of Luke Riley as well as Michael Aswell. They're two guys that love to bring it every time they hit the octagon. I do think MVP versus Sam Patterson, though, should be the co-main event. I think that would be a much more fun fight, but that's just kind of nitpicking if I'm being completely honest. I do think, a fight like Ivo Baranevsky versus Austin Lane could have been swapped to the prelims. I mean, that will be a barn burner because they're just two big guys that like to throw. But yeah, I do agree that Nathaniel Wood versus Losene Keita should be on the main card. That is going to be an excellent fight. Like, I really am curious at how that's going to play out, and we'll get into it a little bit later. But that's honestly, I would say that's a top 2 fight that I'm really paying attention to in this fight card. Not top 2. There's actually a few fights that are pretty good on this card. I'll give it top 3. Maybe I'll put it at 3. But yeah, and also the main event. I mean, Lerone Murphy versus Movsar Evloev. Murphy's fighting at home in England, both undefeated, which is awesome. You love to see matchups like that. And you know what they say? Someone's O has got to go. So we'll break it down. We'll give you our picks about who's going to leave the octagon still undefeated. But yeah, I do like the card. I think they did a solid job with this, especially with all the stacked cards coming up. I do think that they were able to put together a very watchable and entertaining fight night.
All right, first fight of the night. We've got Melissa Mullins versus Luana Carolina, and I'm going to go with Luana Carolina to win this fight. Both of these women are coming off losses, but I trust Carolina a little bit more here. Melissa Mullins lost to not exactly the kind of competition that makes me feel great about her bouncing back in this spot. Luana Carolina, I believe, lost to a legit prospect. I'm forgetting her name.
Michelle Montague. She came over from, I believe, EFL.
Yes. I was thinking Australia, and I was like, who is it? It's Michelle Montague.
It might be Montague, but I only say Montague because shout out if you know ball, Romeo and Juliet, the Montagues. That's kind of why I refer to it as Montague. I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, but I think Montague is actually pretty good. Before that, Carolina was on a nice little 3-fight win streak against decent competition, too. So when I look at the two of them, I just trust Carolina's overall level a bit more. I don't think this is some amazing fight or anything, but I think Luana is the more reliable pick. I'll say Luana Carolina by decision.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I'm taking Luana Carolina by decision. I think you laid it out beautifully that, yeah, she's the more reliable fighter. Melissa Mullins is solid. I'm not going to take anything away from her. 7-2. She's also tough as hell. Like, I got to give her credit on that. But her last loss, that kind of is a stinger. That's not really someone you want to lose to. I believe it was Daria, and her last name is very long.
Zelezniakova.
Yeah, Zelezniakova. Yeah, not really a loss that you want to be taking. And like we just said, Montague, I think she's very solid. Doesn't really have the striking game, but her wrestling is superb. Mullins actually is not a bad grappler. She can hold her own and, work in some takedowns. They're not the best though, but yeah, Carolina just seen a little bit more from her, and she could have been on a 4-fight win streak. She did get kind of thrown around in that Montague fight. I'm not going to put too much weight on that because I think that Michelle is actually a very solid prospect. So yeah, I like the striking from Carolina. I think she's going to be able to put Mullins on the back foot. But yeah, the thing we're going to need to watch for is just Mullins kind of shooting relentless takedowns, errant takedowns. But Carolina, she is solid off her back, so I'm not going to be too worried about that. She can get up. We've seen it. But yeah, just the more reliable pick in Carolina. I think that's the right play. And Mullins opened as the favorite in this fight, and it flipped not heavily, but now Carolina sitting around minus 125. I think that shows that the betting community is siding with experience rather than just an English woman fighting in her home country.
All right, next fight, Chanel Dyer versus Ravena Oliveira. Chris, Dyer making her debut. Are you going to pick her to win this one?
This is interesting. I am going to pick her. 4-1 doesn't seem right, though. But like I always say, I mean, the odds makers, when they set a line like this, I feel like that's pretty telling about how confident they are in her. I mean, she's a great striker. She's tough as hell. That Contender Series fight, she lost. She lost to Carol Farrow, and she got knocked down 3 times and ended the fight with more total and significant strikes than Farrow. So I obviously we got to credit her on the toughness. We've seen her face adversity, and she did not give up at all. I think that's one thing that's important. You love to see fighters face adversity because sometimes when someone's just running through their competition and then they hit a roadblock, you never know how they're going to react. So it's kind of hard to play the, they shouldn't be able to get through it game. But Ravena Oliveira, she's okay. She's relentless. She likes to put people on the back foot as well. She is on a 2-fight losing streak. She lost to Tainara Lisboa by decision 2 years ago. So really hasn't fought in a while. And then 4 months ago, she just lost to, it was Stephanie Luciano by submission. So 2 fights in about 2 years, not exactly what you want to see. I just think that Chanel Dyer is the better fighter in this. I think that she should be a heavy favorite. 4-1, a little bit too much for me to even put. I hate putting 4-1 fighters in a parlay. Like, just because if they lose, I'm going to be so mad. But yeah, I think Chanel Dyer, she's the much better striker. She's super tough. And I think she's going to get Ravena Oliveira out of there. Even though Oliveira, she has 7 wins, they've all come by finish. But then you look at who she's finished, no one really good, a lot on the regional scene. So I don't think we can put too much emphasis on that. But yeah, I'm taking Chanel Dyer at home. I think she's a very promising prospect. And like I said, she's tough as nails, man. So if it gets into that nitty gritty of like a chaotic fight, I'm going to trust the woman that we've seen deal with that pull through.
You said it, man. I think Dyer wins this fight, but the betting line on this one is insane. Like, the odds are acting like Chanel Dyer is the next champion already, and I'm not there yet, When I watch Dyer, I think the comparison I keep coming back to is kind of like an Angela Hill. Not in a bad way, just that style, bouncy, athletic, throws in combination, stays active, good volume, decent speed. Honestly, she might even have a little more power than Hill, which is why I call her like Angela Hill 2.0.
Right.
She's still young too. She's only 24, so there's room to grow. But you did mention something that we also have to remember. She's coming off a loss on Contender Series. It was a war. It was a good fight, but it was still a loss. Oliveira on the other side is 0-2 in the UFC. She fought up at 135, lost, dropped to 115, lost again. And in that last fight, she just looked a step behind the whole time. She's tough. She'll throw. She'll stay in the fight. But she doesn't really do anything that makes me think she's going to beat someone more athletic. And that's the key here. I think this fight is decided by athleticism. Dyer is faster. She moves better. She throws cleaner combos. Could Oliveira wrestle? Maybe. Maybe she can make it ugly, but I don't really trust her grappling enough to say that's the path. So I think this is mostly a striking fight. And if it's mostly striking, I favor Dyer. Now, the odds, minus 485. That is crazy. Anything that's minus 400 plus is nuts. For a girl making her debut, that is wild. I still think she wins. Yeah, who lost, by the way. I still think she wins, but I mean, the number is just way too wide. Most likely result is Dyer by decision. She outworks her, lands more, stays ahead, wins rounds. You kind of alluded to it. Could she get a knockout? Maybe. She's got some pop. She's got head kicks. She's got speed. But I don't think we're going to see a finish here. I'll say Chanel Dyer gets it done by decision. Yeah. But we're 2 for 2 on our picks right now.
And Dyer, if this raises anyone's level of confidence, one of very few UFC prospects, regional prospects, to earn a Contender Series contract on a loss. So I think that shows that the UFC sees something in her that is very promising. And I do too. I think that was a good show of battling through adversity.
And again, she's super green. She's 24. So
yeah,
it'll take time with her, but they believe that she can amend her mistakes, learn her lessons, and we'll see if that comes to life in this Ravena Oliveira fight. Next fight, Shamrock versus Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi. I think Shamrock wins this one, but this is not a fight where I'm super confident in either guy. Al-Sawadi hasn't fought in 2 years. That already worries me. He's got decent wrestling, decent top control, hits takedowns, but he's not some dominant fighter. He's not blowing people away. And when he gets hit clean, he's been knocked out before. All 4 of his losses are knockouts. That's a red flag. Shamrock, on the other hand, his debut was against Nurullo Aliyev. I was there live to see it in Qatar, and that is just a nightmare matchup for a debut. Aliyev is basically a Habib clone. Relentless grappling, constant pressure, the chain wrestling. Rock got handled, but he still showed some things. You know, he's got decent kicks, and his jiu-jitsu is legit. I actually think Rock might be the better submission grappler here. So the question becomes, can Al-Sawadi take him down and keep him down? I'm not sure he can. And if he can't, I think Rock starts landing from distance, maybe hits a takedown of his own, maybe takes the back. This feels like a fight that probably goes long. I could see Rock winning a decision. I could also see him getting a submission if the opportunity opens up. Not a super high-level fight, but I like Rock slightly more, so I'm going to say Shamrock by decision, maybe a sub.
All right, our first instance of parody. I am going to go... I'm going to butcher his name. It is Abdul Karim Al-Sawadi, correct? Yes, it is. Okay. Yep. Just a little check. I'm actually going to look at the betting splits on Pickett. We are recording this on Wednesday, March 18th. So betting lines and betting splits are subject to change. So just want to let you guys know that the numbers we're giving out might not be accurate by the time you're watching this. So it will hopefully be up tomorrow on Thursday. It will be up tomorrow on Thursday because I'm going to make sure it is. But that is just a little disclaimer. Another plug. We'll plug it throughout the episode. Check our Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. On Saturday, when we release our final picks, we like to make sure that everything goes right on the scales. Could have a change of heart. We are recording this few days before the event, so just want to plug that so you're not viewing this as our word is complete gold. We do change our minds. We are human. So just letting you guys know. But yeah, I do like what you said though. I mean, I think that Shamrock facing Nurullo Aliyev in his debut is brutal. That is a brutal straw to pull in your UFC debut. He is solid though. I do like what I have seen from Shamrock in that fight specifically though. He did look a little bit clueless. Like it almost felt like he was just a fish out of water. He is a grappler by nature, solid with submissions, not too much with the takedowns. I believe he can get some takedowns, but he's not a guy that's just going to shoot over and over again and make it, a gritty, grueling fight. Al-Sawadi, I am nervous because he has not fought in 2 years. That is a red flag. I'm not going to sit here and boost this guy up without mentioning that because that is something that has to be taken into mind. I do believe in ring rust. Some people say, ring rust. Oh, if you fought before, whatever. I think ring rust is 100% real. We've seen it before play out in the octagon. But with Al-Sawadi, I feel like he's a guy that will put Shamrock on the back foot, kind of similar to how Aliev did it, not with the aggressive, grueling grappling nature that Aliev brings. I have seen Sawadi implement the grappling. He does shoot takedowns. He's more of an offensive grappler, not a defensive grappler. I do think that will bode well for him in this fight. And I do think he's the better striker than Shamrock. I mean, Shamrock, he's not a fish out of water on the feet, but I do think Sawadi brings a little bit more versatility on the feet, and he has some pop to him. I'm not going to say he's a world beater, but I mean, I do like the striking that I see from El Sawadi. I just think he is the perfect blend to mix it up and make Shamrock uncomfortable. Throw a few combos and then shoot a takedown. Will he be able to keep him down? Like you said, Tricard, that is a big question, because Shamrock is a solid defensive grappler. I mean, Aliev, like I said, we're not going to count that because that is a Khabib clone. He is a dog. He's a very good wrestler. But I just think Sawadi has a perfect blend of skills to make Shamrock uncomfortable, put him on the back foot, and just take a little bit control of the fight. But Shamrock is the bigger fighter, as you could see on the screen. 5'11" compared to 5'8" from El Sawadi. He does have a 4-inch reach, so if he's able to utilize that, might be a little bit difficult for Al Sawadi, but I am going to roll with Abdul Karim in this fight. I'm going to say by decision. I think it'll be an interesting fight to see, but yeah, that's kind of how I feel on this.
All right, I'm taking the dog in Shamrock.
Also,
Chris.
I am looking at DraftKings. Like I said, this is Wednesday, so it will change. Al Sawadi is somewhat sharp, 41% of the bets, 66% of the money. On Pickett, where they actually give you the handle, I mean, it's $12,000, so it's really not that much, so you can't take this into heart. He is actually insanely sharp on Pickett with $12,000, 46% of the bets, 80% of the money. So that will probably change. I do feel a little bit like people are kind of blowing some smoke up Shamrock just because he's fighting at home. But hey, things will change. That's what we're seeing on Wednesday. But yeah, should be a solid fight.
All right, heavyweights up next. Louis Sutherland versus Brando Perisic. Chris, who do you like here?
I like Brando Perisic. I think that he's a very solid kickboxer coming out of City Kickboxing. I do like Louis Sutherland, another guy who kind of pulled a bad straw in. I believe Walter Walker was his debut.
Yes.
Okay, it was his debut. That is a very tough straw to pull in your debut. Walter Walker heel hooked him like we've known him to do constantly. He got that done in, I believe, less than a minute and a half. Perisic, on the other hand, knocks out, I forgot who he knocked out, but he knocked him out in 2 minutes. So, you have a guy in Louis Sutherland. He's a brawler. He loves to get scrappy. He loves to throw his power overhands and just make it a really gritty fight. Perisic, on the other hand, he's more of a technical kickboxer, actually a very technical kickboxer. Stays on the outside range, darts in and out. And for a big guy with his abilities, that's pretty scary. He does have pop too. I think he mixes it up very well. So in a striking match where, I mean, I don't see this going to the ground at all. If one of them is shooting, I feel like they're going to be in trouble, and it's more of a panic shot than an actually calculated shot. But I'm going to trust Brando Perisic on the feet. He's also a big guy. Louis Sutherland, 6'3". He's not small, but Perisic, 6'5", almost an 80-inch reach. So I'm just going to take the guy who I think is the honestly way better striker in a striker's fight. So give me Perisic by knockout. I'm going to say first round. I think you can get Louis Sutherland out of there quick.
I also like Perisic here, and I think he knocks him out. Perisic has that City Kickboxing style, sharp, technical, explosive, good check hook, and he's training with killers. When you're in the room with guys like Adesanya and that whole crew, you're going to get better. He's still inexperienced, only a few fights, but the power is real. Sutherland is the opposite style. He is a brawler. He wants chaos. He wants to get inside and just swing. That can work at heavyweight, but it can also get you knocked out, and I think that's what happens here. If Sutherland tries to close distance recklessly, he's going to get hit, and Perisic hits hard. Could Sutherland make it ugly? Sure. Could he wrestle a bit? Maybe, but I think the cleaner striker wins this fight, so I'm going to say Perisic gets it done by KO as well. Next fight, Montas Contratavicius versus Antonio Trocoli. This one feels like a setup. It really does. I'm just going to say it. This looks like a fight the UFC made to get Contradavicius a knockout. Trocoli is limited. His striking is awkward, and he hasn't looked UFC level. Contradavicius, on the other hand, has real power, and he starts fast. He knocked out his Contender Series opponent in like a minute. He is explosive, and he's only getting better. Trocoli has been submitted twice recently, and he's been knocked around before too. This feels like it's one-sided. Unless something weird happens, Contradavicius should destroy him. So I'm going to say Montes Contradavicius gets it done by KO in the first round.
Yep, I very much agree. Trocoli, he's had one fight on Contender Series, which was actually a no contest. 3 fights in the UFC to Shara Magomedov. Pretty good loss. Tresean Gore, okay. And then Mansour Abdul Malik, who steamrolled him. Yeah, I haven't seen anything from Trocoli in the UFC or really even on the regional scene that makes me say, all right, wow, this guy could actually be a player at middleweight. Montas is very good kickboxer. He honestly feels like a smaller Perisic, if I'm being completely honest. Darts in and out, rangy, tries to stay at the end of the punches, not get hit very much. Yeah, if this is just going to be a battle on the feet, which I think it is, I just feel like Montas is over the top the right pick. I mean, I was super impressed with his Contender Series victory. And yeah, like you said, I think this is a setup. This is just to boost Montas up. It's kind of just, this should be a layup. If he loses, then we can maybe have a conversation. But yeah, this is almost as easy of a layup that you're going to get in the middleweight division. And no disrespect to Trocoli, because he's a lot bigger than me and could probably kill me. But yeah, I think Montas, he should win this easily. First round knockout, book it.
Real easy one here. Montas in the first round by KO. Next fight, Mario Pinto versus Felipe Franco. Chris, this is another one that looks like a mismatch.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I think this is an absolute layup for Pinto. I honestly don't understand why this was booked. I mean, Franco, when you look at his record, 10-1, it's not bad. I mean, you would look at it at face value and say, okay, wow, this guy's a solid prospect.
Yeah, guess who the one came to?
Yeah, Freddie Vidal, who shout out Long Island. But yeah, that's not great. That's not great. Freddie Vidal won his last Contender Series fight against Felipe Franco and still didn't get a contract. So
second to last, because Freddie Vidal came back and then
second to last. Yeah, second to last. Yeah, he won 2 times on the Contender Series and didn't get a contract. So no, he lost his right. He lost his last.
Yes,
fight.
He lost his last.
Yeah.
So he got
1-1 on the Contender Series. So yeah, that's not great. But yeah, Franco, he's just a grappler at trade. He doesn't really give me anything on the feet to be like, all right, this guy can stand and hang with them. But yeah, Pinto dominated. I wouldn't say dominated. Marco Tulio did look good in the first round. And then Pinto, no, he didn't fight Marco Tulio. Who did he fight? Marco Tulio fought CLD. Why am I saying that? I got ahead of myself. Who did
Pinto fought? Jonata Deniz.
Jonata Deniz. Deniz actually looked good in the first round. I do remember that. And then Pinto, I think, came back in the second round and won. But Pinto, I'm impressed with him. I think he's super solid. He's a huge guy standing at 6'6". I'm not too worried about the grappling threat from Franco. I mean, I think that's really all he has in this fight. If it stays on the feet, Pinto should absolutely obliterate him. So yeah, I'm going Mario Pinto by first round knockout. I think it's pretty easy. The odds suggest it as well. I believe Pinto is like -900. Let me double check that. -900 on DraftKings. Yeah, I mean, this is a layup too. I don't know what we're doing here. I think Pinto could fight someone better than Franco. I don't know if they're just trying to get I don't know if they were just trying to get Mario Pinto on the card and couldn't get him booked. It's kind of how it seems. But yeah, I think Pinto's an absolute dog. I'm super excited for his future. Yeah, there should be no thought behind this.
Yeah, Franco lost to Freddie Vidal in Contender Series, got knocked out, then fought low-level guys. Pinto was about to fight a ranked opponent before this got changed. He was about to fight, I believe, who was it?
I'll look it up. They have all the canceled
It
fights
wasn't
on.
Tabora. Tabora was going to fight
Parkin.
So he was going to fight Mick Parkin. I mean, it tells you everything. Pinto is technical, good striker, good grappler. He fights smart. Franco is wild, throws overhands, tries to wrestle, but he's not on the same level. I think Pinto lights him up. Could be knockout, could be ground and pound, could be decision, but I don't see Franco winning. I'll say Pinto wins this one by KO. Pretty easy pick here, and he's minus.
I probably would have taken Pinto in the Mick Parkin fight as well. So if that makes anyone feel better.
Yeah, for what it's worth, I probably would have done the same. This one is interesting. This one is interesting. Nathaniel Wood versus Losene Keita. As I mentioned before, I think this should be a main card fight. I don't know 100%. What it's doing on the prelims. I'm going with the veteran here. Give me Nathaniel Wood at plus 195. And I know Keita has hype. I know he's explosive. Guys, I was literally the one who was pushing Keita. I really like Losene Keita. I know he's dangerous. I know the striking looks nasty, but there are a couple things that worry me. First off, the weight cut. He hasn't fought at 145 in a long time. He's been fighting at lightweight. Now he's coming back down against a guy like Nathaniel Wood. He is experienced and fighting at home in London. That's not an easy spot. Wood is just a really solid all-around fighter. Good striking defense, tight guard, good combos, good leg kicks, good movement, underrated wrestling. That's the part people forget. Wood can mix in takedowns. He can clinch. He can grind. You know, he can make these fights ugly if he needs to. Keita is definitely dangerous in round one. No doubt about it. He has fast hands, really explosive attacks. But I don't love his ground game, and I don't love his gas tank if that weight cut is tough. Obviously, Keita was supposed to fight on the last France card against Patricio Pitbull. He missed weight. The cut was very difficult for him. He's back at featherweight. I don't know why they gave him another fight at the weight class, but if he accepted and everyone's good with it, then I guess it's happening. If Wood survives the first round, I think the fight starts to swing. Round two, round three, Wood's experience starts to show, more technical, more composed. He has the better cardio. The odds have Keita as a pretty big favorite. He is minus, 238 right now. And
yep.
I don't agree with that. This feels closer to a coin flip to me. This is one of the fights where I genuinely feel like it is a complete toss-up. Just like Nathaniel Wood's last fight against Jose Delgado, where I picked Delgado on the podcast, and then I ended up flipping it to Nathaniel Wood on the day of. So I'm going to take the veteran here. I'm going to take Nathaniel Wood, and I think he'll get it done over the distance. Nathaniel Wood by decision is going to be the pick.
Yeah, dude, this is so tough, man. This actually feels like the Delgado versus Wood fight, if I'm being completely honest. You have a really hyped up prospect in Keita taking on a very grizzled vet, Nathaniel Wood. I mean, this guy has fought a very good caliber of opponents, vets, prospects, everything in between. And he comes out on top way more often than not. I mean, let's see his UFC record. He's 10-3. And those 3 losses have come to Muhammad Naimov, Casey Kenny, much earlier in his career, and John Dodson. John Dodson was actually a pretty solid vet at that point. Casey Kenny, I'm not holding that against him, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, I feel like this pick for me is really going to come down to Friday. This is really just going to come down to the weigh-in for me. Very reluctantly right now, I'm going to take Losene Keita. There's a good chance I switch to Nathaniel Wood, though. I'm super torn on this. I don't get why Keita is fighting at featherweight again. Like you said, Trikar. I mean, we were talking about it, saying that why doesn't he just fight at lightweight? I don't get it. If the cut is that brutal, I mean, I get it. You can bring down the power, bring the power down. Well, you bring the power up, but you're bringing it down a weight.
Yeah, class. It never happens that way.
Exactly.
Everyone's like, oh yeah, the power translates. You're going to have more power at a lower weight. It does not work that way.
But you have less cardio, and that's the thing. I mean, you need
and
all the
your
cardio.
Chin gets worse too.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you need all the cardio you can get when you're facing Nathaniel Wood. I mean, this guy is solid at every aspect of MMA. The wrestling, the grappling, solid. He can stand and strike with the best of them. The reason I'm gonna take Keita is because I think that watching the Delgado fight, super close fight, by the way. I thought Delgado won, but I mean, I'm not mad that Nathaniel Wood got the decision. Well, actually, I was super mad in the moment, so we're just like, I'm not going to talk about that. But yeah, I mean, Delgado was really hurting Wood in the striking game. He was a very clinical striker. The spinning back fist was superb. And it really just all came down to the takedowns and the control that Nathaniel Wood was able to implement. And that's the veteran savvy that you acquire in the UFC, fighting all these guys. For Keita, I mean, the takedown defense is somewhat unknown. In Cage Warriors, how much emphasis can you really put on that when you're facing a UFC guy like Nathaniel Wood? Like, he was going to fight. I mean, what's crazy to me is that in his first two fights, he was supposed to fight Pitbull, Pitbull's a lot older than he was in Bellator. So, he's not as good as he used to be. Still a super solid fighter. Very good, in my opinion. And Nathaniel Wood, I think the UFC has a lot of confidence in Keita. But what I was getting back to, sorry, I just went on a little tangent. Delgado, he was hurting him in the striking game. With Keita, I think he has more power than Delgado. I feel like if he lands, Delgado dropped Nathaniel Wood, Keita might be able to knock him out. If it comes down to that, I can see it. I'm super torn on this, so don't take my word as gold here. I'm gonna reluctantly side with Losene Keita right now. In a decision, he could knock him out though. He really could. And if he knocks out Nathaniel Wood in his UFC debut, he's on a rocket ship. I mean, that's an impressive first win. So yeah, super reluctant pick right here. Check the socials on Saturday. But yeah, I think that Keita can do it. It's just all going to come down to the grappling and the takedown defense. And Keita does have a good sprawl, but that's really about it. So yeah, I'm not too confident in this.
Wood has 52% of the bets on DK and 88% at the handle.
Wow. But one thing that's interesting is that this fight opened up pretty close. Keita was minus 150. Wood was plus 130. And now Keita is minus 230. So I think that's a little interesting. Yeah. It's a coin flip in my opinion. So if you want value, I'd go at Wood because I think the fight should be closer to even, like Trikar said.
Next fight, Mason Jones versus Axel Sola. Chris, who are you going with?
This is another really good fight. That honestly could have been on the main card.
Could have been on the main card.
Yeah. Love the matchmaking here. I really do. I think this was a great job by the UFC to put these guys together. Super hyped up prospect in Axel Sola, who won by knockout in his last fight. I believe that was the France card as well. And he knocked out Reese McKee, who's a dog. He has a really good chin. Mason Jones, he's a dog, man. This guy is tough as nails. I'm gonna go with Mason Jones. I think he has more paths to victory here. On the feet, I think he'll be able to deal with Sola's striking prowess. Mason Jones has very solid striking on his own in his own right. He's powerful. He's super, super durable. Super durable. Sola's going to have to throw a kitchen sink at him to knock him out. But the grappling is what I'm really focusing on here. I mean, Sola, we haven't really been exposed to his grappling game. He's never honestly even really needed it in his professional fights. But Mason Jones, he smothers you like a blanket. I mean, yes, he did get hurt in the Balaji Oki fight in the first round, but he came out like a bat out of hell in the second round and just dominated. He really did. I think that he's actually a very good grappler. I just think he has more paths to victory here. And if his chin is what we've seen previously, and I don't think it's been cracked yet, I think he'll be able to deal with Sola on the feet. And if he even feels threatened, he'll just shoot takedowns and hold them there. So yeah, I think Mason Jones is the right pick here. Very close on the betting lines as well. I could see a decision here, but I could also see this fight getting finished. But my final pick is Mason Jones by decision.
I'm also going with Mason Jones. Jones is just one of those guys who makes fights ugly and wins them. He's durable. As you mentioned, he keeps coming forward. Once he gets on top, he's a problem. He can wrestle. He can clinch. He's not afraid to take shots to get inside. Sola is more technical on the feet, better footwork, cleaner striking, more of that karate stance, in and out movement. If this stays at range, Sola could win, but I don't think Jones lets it stay at range. I think he pressures, closes distance, pushes him to the cage, hits takedowns, makes it messy, and that's where Jones wins fights. Again, he might get hit in round one. He always does, but over time, he starts to take over. This feels like a gritty fight, not pretty, not clean, just pressure, wrestling, control. I will also pick Mason Jones to get it done by decision. But that'll cap it off for the prelims. Heading into the main card, if you haven't already, make sure you like the video, subscribe, turn those post notifications on, share the video, help our channel grow any way you can. Socials down below. Let's get into our main card opener. Curtis Campbell versus Danny Silva. This one is tricky. But I'm going with Curtis Campbell. Silva is solid, good boxing, good volume, good cardio, tough guy. But he's kind of, what's the word? He's kind of standard. Nothing about his game makes me go, nothing about his game makes me go, oh man, this guy is special. Campbell, on the other hand, he's weird, but in a good way. He's strong. He's got good grappling, good control. He mixes everything together well. He can strike. He can wrestle. He's got power too. I think the key here is the grappling. If Campbell hits takedowns, he wins. If he controls position, he wins. If this turns into a pure boxing fight, Silva could make it close, but I think Campbell is too well-rounded. Not an easy pick for me, but I do like the upside. So I'm going to say Curtis Campbell gets it done by decision. And if we look at the odds, Campbell's a minus 230 favorite. Silva's plus 190. So I think it's a little bit closer than that. But give me Curtis Campbell in his debut.
Yeah, I very much agree. I'm going to take Campbell by decision. You use the key word for me, grappling. I think that's exactly what this fight comes down to. Danny Silva is standard. I actually really like that comparison. That we've never used that before. So Shrikar has just coined a new phrase on the War Room. Silva is standard. He is tough as hell, though. His battle with Kevin Vallejos his last time out, that was a great fight to watch. It's just volume. It's all volume from Silva. He's a very solid striker. He can make it in the nitty gritty. Actually, can you click on the significant strikes tab on
I can.
UFC.com? All right, let's see. So Silva lands like almost 7 strikes a minute. That is insane. But then look how much he absorbs.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's just all it's brawl or nothing with Danny Silva. I actually do think he is the better boxer / striker in this matchup. But so the reason I say that is Campbell, he is solid. He does have pop. His punches they're not like straight down the middle. It's more of just a lot of looping stuff and trying to catch you at the tail end of a massive overhand or a hook. But Campbell is a sick grappler, man. And what I saw in that Vallejos fight was that Danny Silva was able, not Danny Silva, excuse me, Kevin Vallejos, even though it was, a little weird and out of his expertise per se, he was able to take down Danny Silva. And I don't view Kevin Vallejos, I keep saying Vallejos, Vallejos. It is Vallejos. Vallejos was able to take down Danny Silva pretty easily. I mean, in a slugfest, you're not really expecting takedowns if both guys are just standing and swinging for the fences. But Curtis Campbell is, I would say, he's a grappler at by trade. So, and he's pretty damn good at it too. Wait, see, I want to see if this is right. Can you check the grappling stats for Campbell? I might have saw. Yeah, how does he average 22 takedowns per 15 minutes? I get it. The last fight wasn't that long, but that just makes, I don't know. Statistically, that's crazy. That's actually insane. But yeah, I just want to point that out because I was like, all right,
because he's 1-0-0. It's only counting.
Is true. And the fight didn't go 15 minutes. So I guess in that sample size, if you multiply it, it gets to 22.5. But yeah, I mean, I think Campbell has more past the victory here. If he wants to win, just grapple. I mean, I think he'll be able to take down Danny Silva pretty easily. But on the flip side, Vallejos was able to take down Danny Silva. He wasn't expecting that. In this fight, he's probably going to be expecting the takedowns. So how will Danny Silva's takedown defense hold up? Actually, I don't. Can you check his takedown defense? I'm not sure what it is. 81%. I mean,
81%.
not a huge sample size, but in the times he was defending takedowns, I guess 80% is, you'll take that. But yeah, Campbell, very, 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 very solid grappler. I think that's his path to victory here. So yeah, Campbell by decision. I know that was long-winded for a pretty short, should be short breakdown, but it should be solid opener to the main card.
Next fight, Roman Dolidze versus Christian Leroy Duncan. Chris, who are you going with?
I'm going to go with CLD. I'm going to go with CLD by knockout. I think that Roman Dolidze is a world-class grappler. We don't see it too often because he's not bad on the feet. He can hold his own. But from what I've seen with CLD, I mean, he is amazing on the feet. This guy is a very good kickboxer. He's able to work the legs. Leg kicks are crucial in his game. He's also very good at sticking and moving. He doesn't stay in one place for a very long amount of time. I think that if he's able to keep Roman Dolidze at range and at bay, I think he's going to have his way with him, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, his last fight, that was the guy who faced Marco Tulio, CLD. And that was actually a pretty close fight on the betting odds pre-fight. But CLD knocks out Marco Tulio. I mean, I just think that he's going to be able to have his way with Dolidze if Dolidze doesn't implement the grappling. If he does implement the grappling, I think it's going to be a very different story. But CLD at home, it just feels wrong to pick against him. But Gregory Rodriguez, when he fought CLD, did wrestle a lot. And that's another guy that doesn't use his grappling as much as he should. So if Roman Dolidze is able to implement that, he could pull an upset. I can see that. I'm not counting that out. But CLD on the feet, he just feels like a different animal, different beast. So yeah, I'm going to side with him. I'm going to side with him by knockout.
I'm also going Duncan. Duncan looks like he's starting to figure things out. His last fight, he came out aggressive, fast. When he lands clean, people go down. He's faster than Dolidze. He's more precise than Dolidze. And honestly, he might even hit harder clean. Dolidze is tough, strong, good clinch, decent wrestling, but he gets hit a lot. He throws wild. And against a clean striker, again, that can get you knocked out. We've seen him beat guys who are slowing down, but against guys on the rise, he struggled. And I think Duncan is on the rise. If Duncan keeps distance, picks shots, stays disciplined, I think he wins. Could be decision, could be knockout. But I like Duncan. I'll say Christian Leroy Duncan gets it done by KO or decision. I'm kind of teetering on the edge of whether I want to just straight bet a method, but if you're going to go for any method bet, I'd say KO or decision is pretty safe. I think the odds on that are going to be pretty inflated. So yeah, CLD is the pick here. He's minus 440 for a reason. He should get it done.
CLD by knockout or decision is what the hell? It's more than his actual line. He's minus 440. Him by knockout or decision is minus 600. How does that even make sense?
Yeah, then don't bet that. I don't know. Just bet the money line, I guess. I'm not sure, but CLD is going to be the pick.
That's so funny. That's so weird.
That's crazy. Next fight, Ivo Baranevsky versus Austin Lane. I'm going Baranevsky. Y'all know the whole spiel by now. Lane dropping to 205. It's just weird. He's huge, and now he's cutting a ton of weight. I don't love that. I've said it before. I'd never agree when fighters really cut down to try and prove something. Baranevsky is wild, but he's dangerous. Big power. And he's the type of guy who wants to knock you out immediately. Could that style get him in trouble later? Yes. But against Lane, I think it works. Lane's chin has been questionable, and cutting weight usually doesn't help that. If Baranevsky lands clean, I think it's over. Sure, he could wrestle. He could play it safe, but he probably won't. He's going to swing. And I think he connects. Give me Baranevsky by KO.
Yeah, I think this is pretty cut and dry. I'm going Baranevsky by KO too. Lane, another guy who really hasn't shown me much in the UFC. Also, like you said, I completely disagree with this weight cut. I mean, he's 6'6" with an 80-inch reach. Like, I get it. Heavyweight fighters, wasn't really going well for him. We're being completely honest. Wasn't going well at all. But yeah, Baranevsky is not a technical masterclass when you watch him, but in the fights that Austin Lane gets into, he gets into brawls. He doesn't really get into a technical fight. And that's exactly where Ivo Baranevsky thrives. I mean, look at the Ivo Aslan fight. Dude got dropped twice, gets up, knocks Aslan down, knocks him out. I think this is a perfect storm for an Ivo Baranevsky knockout, probably in the first round. And this is just another fight on this card that feels like a layup. I mean, there's 3 fights on this card that it's just, you could just tell the UFC is trying to push one specific guy. But yeah, it should be pretty easy for him. I am completely confident that Baranevsky is going to knock him out.
All right, featured fight. Michael Venom Page versus Sam Patterson. Chris, who are you picking here?
I have a feeling I might know who you're picking. I'm going with MVP all day by decision. I think, honestly, I think he could even knock him out easily. I have no idea what the UFC is doing with MVP. I actually think this is kind of disrespectful to give him someone like Sam Patterson, and no disrespect to Sam Patterson, who's actually very good. I'm not discounting that. I just think that MVP, he moved up a weight class and fought the number 10 contender in middleweight in Jared Cannonier and made him look stupid. He made Jared Cannonier look like he shouldn't even be in an MMA octagon with him. MVP coming down, I get that, the rankings get a little wonky when you move weight classes and come back down, but his only loss in the UFC is to Ian Gary. And Ian Gary is very good. And Ian Gary didn't even strike with him, if we're being completely honest. I mean, it was more of a wrestling clinic from Gary. And I guess that is the way you beat MVP. And Patterson is a good grappler. So I guess if you want to use that route, which I'm not going to spoil anything. But yeah, I just think on the feet, MVP is going to make him look stupid. I get that they're both huge guys in this division. Pretty much an 80-inch reach for both of them. They're the same height, size. I mean, MVP is 38. I don't think the wheels are falling off anytime soon. I don't think that Sam Patterson's even going to be able to get on the inside of MVP, just because I think the reason that Gary was able to do that is because I consider Gary to be a very good striker as well. And in a striker's delight, like a striker's fight, it was kind of like what Kevin Vallejos did to Danny Silva. You're not expecting the guy to shoot takedowns. And I don't think MVP was really expecting Ian Gary to shoot. I think MVP is going to keep Sam Patterson at range, at bay. He's going to land big shots when he can, showboat, dance in the octagon, and make him look stupid. I think that MVP at minus 200 is awesome. That is an awesome price. And I don't even know how the line was that close when it opened up, because when it opened up, what was this fight? Patterson.
Well, it's shrunk since it opened. It's because Page is minus 180 now.
Oh, it has? Was he not minus 200? Okay,
Patterson's
all right. Okay, so MVP was minus 155 at open. So I guess not as much movement as I was alluding to. But yeah, I think him at minus 180 all day long. Yeah, give me MVP. I think he makes it look easy and reasserts his name into a very, very, very good welterweight class.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and just stick with what I had initially when I first saw the fight. I'm picking the upset here. Give me Sam Patterson. And I know that sounds crazy to some people, but the more I think about this matchup, the more I like Patterson's chances. Here's the big thing. These guys have trained together a lot. Not once, not twice. They have trained together a lot. Patterson has been in camp with MVP multiple times, sparred with him, worked with him, helped him prepare for fights. And that matters, because the hardest part about fighting Michael Venom Page is figuring him out. He is weird. He is unpredictable. He plays mind games. He controls distance in ways most fighters don't. But if you've already spent rounds with him in the gym, that element of surprise is gone. Patterson knows the speed. He knows the feints. He knows the tricks. And on top of that, Patterson is big for the division, long reach, 78 inches, which Page has a good reach too. But When you can match that, I think it helps even more. He has good power. He's younger. He's also been finishing people lately. Knockouts, submissions, dominant wins. MVP is still dangerous, no doubt. But, he's older, and this feels like a weird matchup for him. If Patterson gets inside, if he clinches, if he gets a takedown, this fight changes fast. And Ian Gary was able to do it at will. In fact, Ian Gary could have submitted him in the first round itself. So I could see Patterson hurting him. I could see him taking the back. I could see him winning a decision. This feels like one of those fights where the younger guy who knows you is a bad matchup. So I'm going to take Sam Patterson by either decision or a club and sub. I think he's going to get it done here. And for an upset, for an underdog pick, I'm pretty confident. I'm literally sticking with the pick I had since the moment this fight was announced. I don't think anything has really changed for me. It's just such a weird matchup at this stage for MVP, as you mentioned, and I think they're doing it for a reason. This is a telling sign of what the UFC thinks about MVP, what they're using his name to do. They are trying to build Sam Patterson. I think that's exactly what's happening here. They tried doing it with Shara as well, to be fair, but I thought that was a little bit more even in the fact that it was Page coming off the Gary loss, so it made a little bit more sense. It was his first fight out middleweight. This is weird. And I think it's weird for all the right reasons in my Patterson pick. So I'm going Sam here at plus 150. Again, I think it's solid value. I'll take it. But yeah, I'm pretty confident in that one too. But we have
I like how we're both confident in our picks.
Yeah, I've had this since jump, so I wasn't going to speak on it now. Co-main event: Luke Riley versus Michael Aswell. I don't know why this is the co-main, but yeah, I guess
MVP versus Patterson should be the co-main. I don't get it. I just don't get it. But hey, props to Luke Riley.
Yeah, I'm going Luke Riley. It's pretty clear what the UFC is trying to do here. Riley looks like one of those guys the UFC wants to build up, and honestly, I get it. He's sharp. He's fast. His timing is really good. Aswell is tough. Throws volume. Good cardio. Likes to pressure, but he gets hit. And against someone like Riley, getting hit clean is a problem. Riley has that counter power where you make one mistake and he clips you. We've seen it before. Aswell's path to win is pressure, volume, make it ugly, maybe wrestle a little. But I don't know if he can keep Riley down. And I don't know if he can avoid the counters. I think Riley stays patient and eventually lands something big. Could be a late knockout, could be decision, but I like Riley, so give me Luke Riley by KO or decision.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that Michael Aswell actually isn't bad, and I'm pretty sure we've had conversations about Michael Aswell that like he's not a slouch. I mean, this guy he's a pretty solid fighter, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, I just think that Luke Riley, and I know Cage Warriors gets hyped up a lot, but I think he's actually one of the better prospects that has come over from Cage Warriors. He's a dog. He's gritty. He has the striking prowess. Aswell, he's pretty tough. He has a very solid jab. He has a very solid jab. But I just think in a fight where it's just going to be an all-out brawl, I'm going to take Luke Riley. I think he's going to be able to keep Aswell at bay. I feel like Aswell thrives in chaotic fights. And I think that Luke Riley is a chaotic fight. Like, I know that doesn't sound right, but in two guys who are good in chaotic fights, I think that Riley will be able to pick his shots better and be more selective with his chaos than Aswell will be. And I think this is actually going to be a good fight. Like, I know I'm complaining that this is the co-main, but it actually should be a brawl. I mean, they're doing this for a reason. They're putting Luke Riley in the co-main event for a reason. I mean, they're very confident in him. I'm pretty confident in him as well. I think he's a very good prospect, good fresh blood for this division. But yeah, I just think that Riley, the fight IQ from what I've seen is there, going to be more selective. He also has power. Aswell does too, but it's going to be a battle of who can control the chaos more. And I'd opt to say that Luke Riley's going to be able to do that. I can see a decision. I can also see a knockout. I'm not going to put a stamp on it, but yeah, Luke Riley's the pick.
All right, main event time. Movsar Evloev versus Lerone Murphy. First off, great fight, great main event. Awesome fight for title eliminator status. Undefeated versus undefeated. And yeah, it's still insane that Diego Lopez got another title shot while these guys are still out here fighting each other just to maybe get a sniff at the belt. Maybe. John Silva's still lurking, which I don't know what's going on there. But regardless, I love this fight. Chris, who you got?
I love this fight too. And I think Volk already said that he's fighting the winner of this. So I guess good on Volk to call his shot. Volk's always an active champion, so he wants to stay fresh. But yeah, someone's O is going to go. The person who will stay undefeated in my mind. Give me the miracle, Lerone Murphy. It feels wrong to pick against a guy who's such a dominant wrestler in Movsar, but Lerone's just the more well-rounded fighter. I mean, is Movsar really going to sit here and crotch sniff for 25 minutes? I mean, he very well could, but every round starts on the feet. That's what I love to say. And Movsar is not a good striker. He is not a good striker. Lerone has so many weapons at his disposal. He's creative. We just saw it against Aaron Pico. Spinning back elbow. I mean, that was a thunderous knockout, and Pico was out for 5 minutes. Lerone has the power. I know in some of his fights, they are, some of them have not been as entertaining as I'm sure he would like it to be. The fans would like it to be. And they've been close against guys that he probably could have and should have wiped the floor with. But at the same time, Lerone in England, I love when these cards go to specific places and they just load up the card with home fighters. I mean, he's going to come in there. He's going to be amped up to fight in front of his home crowd. But Movsar, he can just make it a 25-minute wrestling match. I have trust in Lerone that he could defend a few takedowns, and when he gets taken down, get up. And once it's on the feet, I mean, Lerone has the clear advantage. Like, he is far and away the better striker than Movsar. We have never seen Movsar strike because he doesn't need to. I mean, it's just wrestling dominance. And the only guy who's really even competed with him is Aljamain Sterling, who is also an exceptional wrestler. I think Lerone has good grappling and solid wrestling. He's good at jiu-jitsu. I mean, if he gets on his back, he could throw up some subs. We don't know. It's just when Movsar gets to the ground, he doesn't do anything. It's just it's just, let me lay on you and, change positions, but I'm never going to try and submit you, really. I just feel like Lerone has more tools in this fight. And I mean, Movsar could go out there and prove me completely wrong, but I really like Lerone Murphy's chances in this, especially in England. If this was at a different site, then maybe I would change my mind. But Lerone's going to come in with so much hype and so much juices. Oh my God, adrenaline. I was going to say ambition. I guess ambition too. He's going to be ambitious to go in there and make a statement. He should have been fighting for the title over Diego Lopez. And same with Movsar. Both these guys are going to go in there and look to prove a point in a fight where I would normally say the better wrestler should win. I just think that Lerone could do it on the feet. I'm going to go with Lerone Murphy by knockout. I think he's going to knock out Movsar Evloev, and he's going to have a chance at gold against Alexander Volkanovski.
I've looked at this fight many times. And after going through everything, I'm picking Movsar Evloev to win by decision. I tried to talk myself into Lerone Murphy. I really did. All
See,
right?
I did. I talked myself into it.
I was trying to see if Murphy could sneak a damage-based decision here, if his striking would be enough, if maybe he had enough power to make Movsar respect him and keep the fight standing. But the more I watched tape, the more I came back to the same thing, and it's that Murphy is just too open to being taken down. He is. And I don't think he has the kind of scary one-shot power that's going to completely stop Movsar in his tracks. His spinning back elbow was good.
It was perfectly timed.
But yeah, it was perfect timing and Pico being relentlessly stupid. And I mean, I think Movsar is a smarter fighter than that. Movsar has already fought dangerous guys. He boxed well with Diego Lopez. He dropped Arnold Allen with a jab. I don't know where we're getting this Movsar as a shit striker from. He's fine, all right? He's shown he can survive. He is. He's shown he can survive when things get messy, and his wrestling is just a huge weapon. Murphy has been taken down by a lot of guys. Not always held down, to be fair, because he's very good at minimizing damage and scrambling back up. But Movsar is a different level of wrestler. That's the difference for me. Movsar chain wrestles better, scrambles better. Once he gets into those winning positions, he doesn't give them up. He's not reckless with ground and pound. He doesn't explode and lose control. He just lands enough and banks rounds. It is the classic Movsar special. On the feet, I don't think Lerone is helpless. I think he'll land body kicks, and I think he'll have moments, but I don't think Movsar is some scrub striker, man. He's good enough to survive and good enough to make Murphy hesitate. So for Murphy to win, I honestly think he needs a finish. Maybe it's a random head kick. Maybe it's, I don't know, like a random ninja choke that's locked in when they're scrambling on the ground. Maybe it's some, I don't know, it's some like weird
spinning back elbow on an entry from Movsar.
I don't know. It's got to be something chaotic, but over 5 rounds, I just trust Movsar's process way more. So
yeah, that's valid.
Give me Movsar by decision, maybe 49-46, maybe 48-47. And if that happens, everyone's going to cry, oh, Lerone got robbed when he was 1 fight away from a title shot.
I will be crying.
Oh, Lerone won the fight on damage.
Yeah,
that is literally... That's going to be the discourse. I'm telling you right now, if Movsar wins the decision, people are going to complain on Twitter. People are going to go crazy. Yeah, that's just what he does. This is Movsar's game. So yeah, give me Movsar by decision in the main event. I think he secures a title shot against Volk. And if you want my early pick for Volk versus Movsar, I think Volk was going to absolutely decimate him. I actually do think Lerone would put up a better fight against Volk than Movsar would. But in this fight, again, I just think Lerone is too susceptible to the takedowns. And when you're going up against the best wrestler you've ever faced in your career, I think it ends up being a little different than what you can gauge off the past fights. And from what we've got off the past fights, it doesn't look pretty. So
I'll agree.
Give me Movsar to stay undefeated, 20-0. I think he'll get it done here. But that is the full card predictions for UFC London. Again, pretty solid card, man. Really, really solid card, actually. Some close fights, definitely some mismatches, a main event that could really shake up the division. Drop your picks in the comments. Let us know who you got, especially the main event. Are you going Movsar wrestling for 5 rounds or Lerone doing more damage, pulling the upset? Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on. Hopefully we'll get a stream for you guys for UFC London. I'm sorry we couldn't do one for Vallejos and Emmett. Just know that our overarching thoughts is that Vallejos is absolutely insane. And that's pretty much all we were going to talk about. I didn't get the chance to watch the event, but I did watch that main event. And yeah, Vallejos just continues to prove everything we've been saying about him on the pod. He is absolutely amazing. But we'll see you guys next time. Thank you for tuning in. Peace out.